Hey, this is Brian Hogg, and this is another episode, as you could tell from the title card a moment ago, this is another episode of Building the Pilkington, and in this episode I continue the process of redesigning the Pilkington, the eponymous ship, and in this particular one I begin the probably kind of slow process of transforming a bunch of this into a cool cardboard version of this. Now, for those of you who actually watched previously and actually care, I guess, which is hopefully some of you, I mentioned the initial design of the Pilkington, which was more like a whale, and I showed some pictures of the cardboard in process, and this is actually the initial model. Now this has just, doesn't really matter, but it has a sort of a spinal system inside. There's like a couple pieces of cardboard this way, and then a bunch of slats, and I sort of folded things over. And this looks kind of cool. It would have like a sensor pod coming in the back, and these little things here, sort of like thruster pads that would go here. So there's a bunch of them, so you can tell there's 4 of them. And it would look kind of cool, so it would kind of come up and be like, as I mentioned, the reason I'm not going with this is it looks kind of like the seams are kind of gross. And I would have had to spend a lot more time perfecting the sort of curved cardboard. This is my second attempt. The first attempt was kind of crappy, but this is pretty good for a second attempt, I think. Looks much better without the paint. But I figured, hey, I'm going to go with a different design. It's a little more boxy, a little easier to get the sort of look that I'm going for, which is intentional, not the best that I could do. Although I still make the other ship the best that I can make it, just hopefully it'll look like that's the theme, and I'm not sacrificing, I'm not compromising. I like to eat paleo, and compromise is coconut flour, not compromise is spaghetti squash underneath a bunch of meat sauce. Some of you might know what I'm talking about. So how I'm going to build this is I'm going to take a bunch of flattened sort of octagons, like hollowed out stop signs, basically. And I am going to have a bunch of them here, I believe I wrote down as every 4 inches. It's going to be about 5 feet long. This is the goal. It's going to be 5 foot long. And a bunch of these connected by just sort of little rectangular pieces that will sort of get into the, sort of slot in and hopefully make this a nice superstructure. Now for the back half, it doesn't need to be hollow. It can be solid pieces. Now the concern that I have in making this, I'm not sure how heavy this is going to be. Probably going to be pretty light, but the concern is that the weight of the front end, while being hollow in the sort of connective pieces going this way, is going to be enough that it's going to, instead of be this nice ship like this, it's going to kind of do that. So this may end up just being a draft that I kind of tuck aside, but we'll see. Now the rings themselves this is where, for those of you playing at home, these are my very, very scientific notations wherein I determine how to build this thing. There's the ring here, sort of Stargatey, and little slots I'm going to have to cut for each of them so that I'll have room for the other pieces, which are, I sketched one right there, sort of like a ruler with holes in it, and then it'll just sort of slide in and puzzle piece kind of, that was just a puzzle piece. 13 hollow ones, and I have this written down as 3 solid for some reason. So I have 13 and 3, and they're going to be 12-inch by 14-inch octagons, and this particular piece of cardboard here, 14-inch by 14-inch. So I'm going to, and then do that, and I have the numbers written on the equally scientific piece of paper here, which kind of makes sense to me. So what I'm first going to do, and I'm going to switch to the wide-angle GoPro time lapse. I don't need to keep referring to the back of the GoPro. But I'm technical, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to make one of these into one of the things. I'm going to make a template for it, and then I'm going to cut a whole bunch of them. So this is going to take a while.